Hello, beautiful souls. Can you feel the heat? The year of the fire horse is starting to really fire up. And April, I'm feeling like is going to be probably one of the the energetically hottest months of the year. So I wanted to just very quickly share with you what my spirit team is telling me about the energies of April. I'm also going to be doing a quick reading from the Shaman Wisdom cards, one of my favorite decks. And I've got a couple events coming up that are free to join in April. I'd like to give you an invitation to those as well. But first of all, let's look at the message, okay? And so when I tuned into the energies of April 2026, first thing I was shown was to direct the attention downwards, that there's a lot happening under the surface of the earth. Right. So I asked what's happening that we should really be aware of. And the first thing I got was sensations of the sun warming the soil. I felt like this golden light was penetrating the soil of the earth. And I got this vision of like a bee's nest or a wasp's nest underground. And really, it felt very positive, right? You know, how the bees so there are certain bees that live underground, and they are part of the whole life of the soil, but they've got this very beautiful kind of community feel to them. Okay, so what I was told was that the Earth right now is absorbing solar radiation at an accelerated rate, right? This is sun energy. This is the energy of life. And I was told that this is a process of enlivening and revivification, is the word they used, of the body of the earth. So it's a heating up or raising of frequency, and it's a waking up of certain earth elemental forces, along with something that felt like a star waking up at the center of the earth. Okay. And so I was told that this will have long reaching effects, as it will open up a greater opportunity for a living collaborative partnership with Earth. Okay, facilitating communication between human and natural forces and human and natural communities, and enhancing our ability to work in harmony with the crystal and mineral kingdoms, along with all creatures and beings who are associated with them and with the earth herself. Okay, and specifically soil organisms, deep rooted plants, trees, and herbs, and also structural beings of the earth. Okay, and so some of these are actually physical embodied creatures who share the planet with us, and others are creatures in the spirit realms that are working with the earth. Okay, so that we're going to be able to be maybe more sensitized to working with them. The channels of communication are going to be opening, and so this to me is feeling really, really exciting. All right. But in the short term, I'm told that there may be upheavals related to the earth and her structure. Things like earthquakes, tectonic shifts, volcanic eruptions, that kind of thing are possible, especially this month. But be aware that this is a waking up, not an Armageddon. Those are the exact words that I received. This is a waking up, not an Armageddon. Okay, and that I feel like that speaks to all, all the news events that are happening, whether it's political things or earth related things, natural weather, that kind of thing. So these are energies that are as potentially constructive as destructive, actively awaiting compassionate communication and direction. So there will be certain people who will be led to work with earth, um, in a way to cyclically or even physically lead or direct these energies towards discharging in constructive ways. So what this means is there's a lot of energy that's building up in the earth that has to be released. Okay. And part of the healing process, like a lot of times, right, when we're fighting off something that needs to just be cleared out of our bodies, we'll get fevers, right? We may get shakes, tremors. Same thing with the earth. And there's excess energy that she's got that needs to be released. And there are certain people amongst us who can assist with that. Okay. The rest of us, I'm told, can help by staying grounded. Okay, coming within and really tuning into that inner peace that we all have access to, and sending thoughts of positivity and collaborative partnership to the earth herself. Okay, and anticipating or envisioning that these energies are going to be used towards supporting the well-being of all life on earth. Okay, and that's referring to these energies of upheaval, these energies of, just all the energy that's in the earth that wants to be released. We can start to just imagine that these energies are going to be used for good, right? So also they mentioned elemental beings, right? So these elemental beings are ones that are associated with the elements, right? Fire, air, water, earth. And we have earth elementals, and some of them are connected with things like natural gas, oil, fossil fuels, and earth generated energy sources. Okay, so these elemental beings are also involved, and we can send thoughts of goodwill towards these beings and hold space in our minds for constructive, life enhancing partnerships with these beings. Okay. They are telling me that there is a capacity for and a desire for positive partnerships with and within these beings, okay? The divas of fossil fuel. Can we heal and change our relationship with them so that instead of bending them to our desire for materialistic gain or power, can we partner with them to enhance the quality of all life as well as human life? Okay, so they're telling me that these beings, these elementals, can be used and worked with to enlighten at more levels than just the physical. Of course, we have the power generation that we're all familiar with, and a lot of the lights, the literal lights that we use, are related to these beings and working with them. So we're already using them in positive ways in a lot of ways, but can we step that up and really direct the way that we partner with these beings and really begin to recognize them as these are living beings, right, that are working with these resources. And we can connect with these beings and really begin to create a very constructive relationship with them. Okay, so I'm being encouraged to to encourage psychic communication with the angels of fossil fuel, and these are organic substances that are natural to the earth. We have to remember that. We must not forget that, regardless of how they've been used. And by opening up loving communication with them, we can help to influence the outcome of current situations in positive ways. Okay. So the encouragement is to send love to our energy resources, including oil, natural gas, coal, and even uranium deposits. Those still in the earth and those in the process of being refined, transported, and combusted, right? We can infuse all oil and uranium resources with love. Okay, we can do this from wherever we are through our hearts. Okay, we can bless the gas pumps, we can bless the refineries, the tankers, the oil wells, bless the workers in the uranium mines and in the oil fields, and ask that these resources be used and earmarked to serve highest love, right? In service to highest love now and in the future, and in service to humanity and the earth herself. in learning to partner with these beings, right, we can learn to use these resources responsibly, right, and in healing ways. And that also entails learning when to refrain from them, when to allow them, and respect that they need to stay where they are sometimes, right? Okay, and then also finally, I'm being encouraged to especially to send love and blessings to all world leaders, particularly those involved in conflicts related to energy resources. Okay, ask that their ears and eyes and hearts and minds be opened even a little. Even a slight pause or minor decision can influence the course of world events or cause changes in leadership more conducive to the peaceful resolution of conflict and the responsible use of resources. Okay, so we have to remember that every human being on earth has a soul, right? And that we can, regardless of who we think these people are, we think they're capable of, they each have a soul, and we can send love and blessings to that soul, right? And the souls, as we are all aware, sometimes the soul agenda is completely different from the agenda of the ego or the conscious will, right? So when we step back from all the dialogue and all the messaging that's out there, the crazy news and the the polarities that are in the narratives out there, when we just step back from that and we get into our hearts and we start to beam love and positive energy towards the souls of all involved, that is a very activating type of activity that we can engage in from wherever we are. Okay, so that's the encouragement. All right, so let me draw a couple of cards here to support us in this month of April 2026, because this may be a very volatile month and not necessarily in a bad way, right? A lot of energies that we can tap into. So I'm really intending to support our ability to tap into these energies in super positive ways. It doesn't mean we have to be like super energetic or active. Some of us will be, and others will be more guided to hold space, right? But these cards are intended to assist us in whatever way. Now, while I shuffle here, I do want to invite you to two free events that I am hosting in April 2026. These are my Lightworkers Cafe events, and they are open to all heart-centered spiritual seekers. I would love to see you there. The first one is on Sunday, April 12th. And this is a deep earth guided meditation gathering for healing partnership with earth energy. So everything I've just been speaking about, we're going to get together. I'm going to lead a channeled guided meditation to really assist with this whole process of connecting with the earth and the earth beings in positive ways, right? And really deeply connecting with Mother Earth herself in support of her process of awakening. And that's like I said, Sunday, April 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then Sunday, April 26th, 2 weeks later, will be a spiritual coffee chat. And I've been having these almost every month. And we just get together as a community. So if you have questions, if you have things to share, this is the place to be. The theme for this month is staying grounded. So if you're wondering how can I be more grounded, or if you have a wonderful technique that you've been using that's helping you to stay grounded, come and share it and come learn from others. And this will also be followed by a healing circle for those who wish to participate. If you feel like you're in need of healing, or if you are feeling expansive and would like to offer healing to the group, that will be happening at 2 p.m. Eastern, whereas the coffee chat will be at 1. Right. So I will put the link to join my email list and get notified of these free events when they happen down in the description below this video. And now let's go into the April Oracle reading. And this is again using the Shaman Wisdom cards. This is a really old deck, but one of my favorites. It's created by Leida Richardson. I don't even know who she is, but she's made an amazing deck here. All right, so we're going to draw three cards and one in support of our head space. We have three energy centers in the human body, the head, intellect, the heart center, and then the abdominal center, which is more like the body wisdom, okay? And so let's see what wants to come forward to support us in this month of April, and especially in relating to earth energies. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so this first one is for the headspace, which is spirit. It's also intellect, it's mind, and it is card number 27, which is sage. Oh, our wonderful herb sage that we all love so much. It is, according to her system, would be a masculine herb um, associated with the element of air and with the direction of south and the planet Jupiter. All right, so Jupiter's expansion, but I think this is really an encouragement towards um, the purification that sage brings, right? It sanctifies things, it purifies. And when we burn sage, it is a holy act, and it helps to just clear our minds, our bodies of just anything that's heavy and dark and holding on to us. Okay, so I think really an encouragement to really physically sage our homes and to sage our bodies if it's calling to you, and also just remembering that we can clear our minds, whether it's using sage or any other technique that you have for clearing. It's going to be very, very important in this month of April to do that, because like I said, there are a lot of narratives and things that really want to um, direct our energy towards the upheaval that's happening. And the encouragement, I think, is to just clear that out so that we can focus our attention within, which is where the real power is. Right. So, speaking of the real power, we're going to move down to this heart center and pull a card in support of that. And this card is number 62. Oh, it's referring to the direction of north. Again, in her system that's masculine, um, the season of winter and the season of the elder, right? And also an heir, which is interesting because so much of the astrology of this month it has to do with fire and air. So these two cards, both having to do with air, really kind of supporting that. And also, there's this sort of enigmatic creature. I don't know if you can see it on the card. I'm not sure what it is. It looks almost like a bear or even an anteater, or it could even be a bison, but I'm not sure what it is. It also looks like a tapir. But it's definitely a very powerful looking creature here, and it's really focused towards the earth. Look, it's got its head kind of down towards the earth, and it feels like it's almost like leaning down. Um, when I think of north, I think of uh, like the planet Saturn is coming to mind. And Saturn is one that has a great deal to do with discipline and making sure that everything's in their place and holding responsibility for things. Okay, so I feel like even though this card is labeled air, these are also qualities that I associate with groundedness and with earthing. um so coming into the heart, sometimes Saturn brings up things that you don't want to see, okay? And so the encouragement is, if you are led into some dark places, recognize that it's in the seeing and in the acknowledging that's the beginning of healing them, right? When there's so many times that I personally have myself, and I think most of us will just kind of overlook things, right? That we don't want to see, that we don't feel up to dealing with, and we just kind of bypass that and we want to go all into love and light. Well, sometimes sometimes things that hang heavy on our hearts are meant to be actually brought up and looked at. And some of the things that may be happening in the news and so forth this month may have that effect. They may feel heavy, but we need to come at it with the awareness that when these things are brought up into light, that enables us and it can activate something in us that helps us to step up and take responsibility and to ask, well, what can I do personally, right? And it's not always what we think, right? We cannot fight energy, dark energy, in the same frequency that it is, because that will only keep it in that same lower frequency. We have to come up into a higher frequency. And so sometimes the best way to fight, right? Things that are dark is actually to go within again into the heart, or to bring it up to light and call in the higher forces, acknowledge that it's there, but not actually connect too deeply with it. Like some of the things that show up in the news and so forth are so emotionally heartbreaking, and we have to recognize that, right? People are suffering, but when we get into the state of sympathy, which is easy for an empath to do, we that brings our energy down. And what we're really here to do is to hold a higher energy. So even if we're witnessing things that are heartbreaking, we have to recognize that Spirit's got this, right? God has it in his hands. The angels have it, however you want to express that. But there are higher forces that are supporting all of humanity, right? And that each individual who is suffering has so many angels holding them up, and that when we start directing our minds towards, yes, these angels are there, it puts us in alignment with that, and we actually assist their actions, right? We liberate the angels to begin to work. All right, so that is something that can happen through the heart, and that could be something that shows up very, very strongly this month of April. And then the last, oh, I love this. Okay, so the last card that's showing up is another sacred herb. And in the Native American tradition, I'm led to understand, although I'm not Native, but what I understand is that there are four sacred herbs that are generally recognized. One is sage, one is tobacco, and then the others, I believe, are cedar and sweetgrass. But two of these showing up in this one reading for just three energy centers, I feel like is very, very significant. Okay, so this is the earth herself showing up and communicating with us, right? She's got gifts that she gives us and that we are meant to use. Right, in order to assist with healing everything. So this is drawing this card for the lowest energy center, this abdominal center, which is associated with the body and the bodily functions and the body's instincts, right? Our instinctual self. And the card is tobacco, okay, which is again a sacred herb. It's funny because I was just getting ready. I'm planting all my nightshades at this time, and tobacco is one of them I'm going to be planting and putting in my garden. So I'm really glad to, to see this showing up. On her card, she also associates this with masculine. So three masculine cards showing up here. I think that's a very beautiful thing, and I'm seeing it as the sacred masculine showing up to support Mother Earth, right, in a very, very holy and sacred way. We can start to acknowledge the power of the sacred masculine as a protector, right, and provider for the divine feminine, which is really wanting to rise in a very strong way as well right now. Okay, so the planet associated here with tobacco is Mars, which is a very masculine planet. And also, she's got Earth here, so Mars and Earth. And how can we um, shift the way we use our masculine energy, right, in our bodies? Each of us, whether we're male or female or whatever we identify as, we all have both masculine and feminine energies. How can we use the masculine energies within us to support these processes that the earth is going through? Masculine energy directs, right? Um, and it can be very focused, right? So again, this is pointing me towards the encouragements that I was seeing in the reading here. In the message that I received, to begin to really direct our consciousness in very aware ways, in working with, say, the elemental beings, or the angels, or the beings that we are sharing the planet with on so many way in so many ways and in so many levels. We can start to really consciously work with these, right, and to send blessings actively. All right, so this is going to be an incredible month. I cannot wait to see what unfolds. And I also want to give you also just one last little piece of encouragement. Um, we're receiving a lot. It's a lot that's happening. So much energy that's being beamed onto the earth. It can feel very overwhelming. I personally have been feeling rather fatigued. And so if you are feeling just physically fatigued, or just mentally, I don't know how I can get through this month. I can know that you're not alone in that, and that we can always just dial back what we think we should do, right? And really start to listen to our body and listen to that inner voice within. Okay, so it's an encouragement to tune out all the noise. There's a lot of noise coming from the TV set and from sometimes in our own minds, and to breathe, come to center, right? Get grounded. And again, you're invited to that gathering on the 26th, of all about grounding, but really an encouragement to get grounded, come within, come into the heart space, and work from there. Right. So, as always, all my love to you. And remember, you were born to be free.